Water. As sailors and liveaboards, we are constantly surrounded by it. But the dilemma is we can't drink any of it. Many cruisers use water purifiers, which are $5,000 on the cheaper side of the spectrum. For us, that is currently out of the question. We haven't gotten very far yet, but we plan to go across the Atlantic after the Bahamas, and finding ourselves without drinkable water could be a very serious situation. So what do we do now for this most important human need? And what have we done to prepare for our long stints away from land? In this episode, we will discuss our water tank capacity, our rain collection system, our saltwater hose, which we use to conserve water while doing dishes, and our emergency water rations.
The forward tanks that we have are actually built into the frame of the V-berth. So the V-berth actually sits on the top of the water tanks, and there's 4 tanks up there. 2 of them hold 30 gallons and 2 of them hold 20 gallons. So in other words, there's 100 gallons under the V-berth and then 30 gallons on each side of the salon, giving us 160 in those tanks. And then we also have the rainwater tank, which holds about 25 or so gallons, which puts us at about 185 gallons. So in the salon we have 4 tanks under the benches, so 2 on each side, and you can see them here, and they're numbered. This one's tank 7, this one's tank 8, and these each hold 15 gallons and are made out of stainless steel. They have their own siphon vent, which actually is vented into the lockers behind here. That way there's no risk of salt water accidentally coming in the air vent.
When we're using the water from the tanks, we usually have it so that one tank is open and all the rest are closed. So when we run out of that tank, we know exactly how much water we still have, and we go ahead and open up the next tank. So it makes a lot of sense, and it helps us keep track of exactly how much water we use each month. This is a 5-gallon bladder tank. We mainly use these to shuttle water back and forth from shore if we can't tie up or get to a spot that has a hose. So this is what they look like when they're full, or almost full, and they're really quite heavy. They weigh about 40 pounds each, but they're super easy to carry, and they have this nifty on-off switch. Now the only problem with that is that sometimes these can get kind of rocked around, and the switches can decide for themselves that they want to be open. So that can be a bit of a challenge, but other than that, these things are awesome. We drink straight from them, and we generally have them just kind of lined up, or we use them to actually fill the tanks directly. So works really well. Now here, if you look under the floor, we have these big liter bottles. These are our just-in-case bottles, so if we run out of water, we spring a leak, something bad happens, we have 120 of these, which will last us 45 days. So I really do think it's important that we carry all these bottles of water. They're kind of put all over the boat. There's a stash underneath the quarter berth and a stash underneath the V berth. So, and there's some bunch right under where I'm sitting too. So these are really important to have just in case something terrible happens, and it gives us a lot of peace of mind. It is raining really hard. So this is a perfect time to talk about our rainwater collectors and watch Herbie at work while he opens them up to receive the fresh rainwater of North Carolina.
It's raining. There's tons of fresh water falling on the boat, and actually there's a mathematical formula if you're interested where you can convert gallons to cubic inches of water. So then when they say it's going to rain so many inches, you can figure out how many gallons you're going to collect. So based on the surface area of our boat, in perfect conditions we should get about 150 gallons per inch of rain. And then because of inaccuracies and how this is falling into the cockpit and being out the scuppers, we figure about 100 gallons per inch of rain. So we have set up rainwater collectors on the deck. Now before you open them up, you want to taste the water to make sure it tastes fresh and isn't dirty or salty and stuff. It's good. So we just open these up and the rainwater just pours right in. Actually, it's pretty full already. And then I just set a paper towel to soak up more by capillary action and then shove it down into it. And we'll do the other side as well.
The water that we collect out here goes straight into a bladder tank that's underneath our floor. So the bladder tank fills up, and then we're able to go ahead and fill up any of our tanks with said water. When we're drinking it, we run it through a filter and it tastes pure and good. And I really do recommend it, because when you're out at sea and you're not sure when your next port is going to be, when you're going to be able to get water, this is a really good backup system. In order to switch on the rainwater pump so that we can go ahead and fill our tanks with the rainwater we're collecting, just go over here, flip the switch, and we're ready.
So this morning we've had some pretty light rain. We've already collected about 10 gallons. So slowly but surely, we're replenishing our bow tanks.
Ugh. I got a task ahead of me. I gotta wash these dishes. So, Herbie installed a really cool system that helps save a lot of water, because as you can see, washing these dishes is gonna take a ton of water. So, Herbie installed a saltwater hose so that if I turn the hot water switch, pumps salt water directly from underneath of us, and I can run that salt water forever, and it just goes right back into the ocean, into the water. So, with this salt water, I'm going to wash all these dishes, and then I'm going to rinse them with fresh water so that we don't have salty, salty dishes. Now the one thing you have to watch out for when you do this is if you use the salt water for any amount of time, there's going to be salt water left in the line. So before you use the fresh water, it's easy to tell right there. That change was it switching from the salt water that was in the line to the fresh water coming through. And it's just a matter of the white, fizzy, bubbly mass that comes out. We're gonna today talk about relationships on a boat. It's not a matter of being okay with it, it's a matter of actually wanting it and enjoying it.
But whether I understand or not, just apologize and then make it better, and whatever was wrong, ask and then fix. I'm a guy. And it was more like camping on the boat rather than living. I had no air conditioning. There was no running water. Everything was like manual foot pumps.
Use this for... we use these for... pumps salt water directly from underneath of us. Ugh.
But anyway.
Open it up. We're missing all the rain.
Okay.
Thanks so much for watching. And if you want to become a sailing buddy, you can click the link down below to our Patreon account.
Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And when you click subscribe, make sure you click on the little bell in the annotation. That way you get notifications as soon as our next video is uploaded.
Thanks so much.